Hello friends, welcome to Student Blog. This is brand new course for DevOps, that is DevOps operations admin course, which will be a long journey. So this is completely new course, and it will go for a long course, and which includes a lot of tools, and even it will includes the cloud, like what is cloud, all stuff will be discussed. So this video will be like we'll be discussing what is DevOps, what is DevOps engineer, what he will do, what is this the one which you are able to see, what is this called, all stuff we'll be discussing. And for a couple of videos it will be all theory, so it will be a little bit painful and boring to hear. But before you go into the practicals, or before you go into the actual DevOps, so you need to understand what tools do what, and what at what stage what tool will be using, all stuff. Once you have a good knowledge on the complete, this is called pipeline, so complete pipeline, then if you know theoretically what is what, then it will be easy for you when you attend the interviews, all stuff. So let's go into the subject. So this is video is about DevOps introduction. So what is DevOps? Okay, so DevOps is a set of practices that combines the work of two teams. One is a development team, that is called software development, so so-called developers who develops the code. And second team is like information technology operations, that is called ops, so that is operations team, so that is called DevOps team. So these two teams usually work separately, which is not always efficient. So they implement the DevOps strategy and start of collaborate, they can build, test, and release software much faster and safer. DevOps is both a technology and a culture changes. It can be difficult to implement it, but the teams have a DevOps engineer to help them, and this change with the collaboration. So both teams, like the developers and the operations teams, both teams, if they collaborate and work together, so using a couple of tools in this, they can deploy the things very faster, and zero error, and also zero downtime. So for this, if you go to the next slide, this is about DevOps. So we are discussing that this is called CDCA pipeline, where you can see like build code, plan, okay, deploy, monitor, all these, like for this complete pipeline we will be calling it as CDCA pipeline. And we'll be using a lot of tools, so we'll discuss more, and we'll explain what are the advantages of DevOps. If you implement DevOps, what is the advantages, what is the cost efficiency, all stuff. So next level, this video is completely this course completely is into DevOps engineer, like it is for DevOps engineer, not for developers. So a DevOps engineer can be a developer, and a developer can be a DevOps engineer. So if a DevOps engineer is a developer, then not only operations, he can also understand the code and he can fix it. So some engineers, they are both. So it's not like DevOps engineer cannot be a developer, or developer cannot be a DevOps engineer. So who is a DevOps engineer? So DevOps engineer can be originally from one of the teams. After the implementation of the DevOps strategy, uh, they become part of the other teams as well. The role needs someone with hard and soft skills to blur the barriers between the teams. So frankly speaking, like a DevOps engineer should have a knowledge of developer, what do you call, code development or code. uh, if you say that a basic knowledge will be always helpful, it's like if it doesn't mean that he should have a knowledge, but it will be an added advantage. So skills the developers DevOps engineer needs is soft skills, especially communication skills. So when the deployment happens or any stage, if he see anything, he should have a skill to communicate what exactly the issue is, what is the error. So they have to be able to explain the complexity in that situations. So a DevOps engineer need empathy to be able to talk to other teams and have good problem. They should be a good problem solvers. So these all an advantage of if he has an skills, and they have to understand what tools or programs that developers use. So even developers should have they use some tools or some of softwares to develop the code or to write the code. So he should also aware of what tools they will be using and all stuff. So going forward we will be discussing more, so I will give overview, so don't get uh, uh, confused. So initial stage it will be little bit confusing, but going forward it will be a little bit clear for you guys. So as I said, knowledge of coding is like a basic knowledge is fine. So second thing is like flexibility. DevOps engineer can has to be time flexible. Sometimes problems in different fields rely on them. If necessary, they need to able to cover it all. So it's not like 8 hours job. So sometimes most of the times if some deployment deployments happen post business hours or something like that, he should be available and should be able to cover it. So this is a little bit about DevOps engineer, what is that, and next is why you might want the DevOps, what is the necessity. This is what we are going to discuss. So DevOps builds culture and trust in your company. It helps with sharing responsibility and uh, mm, transparency, accuracy, the feedback, managing upplanned, managing unplanned work, and resolves issues among both teams. It makes the team members think beyond their own teams. Their actions affect all the other teams involved. Sharing goals and progress banishes the it's not my problem some attitude. Okay, so the teams that practice DevOps are more productive and release more frequently. So the developers can see the result of that work. So if you see here, like these are all people who all engaged in this pipeline. So as I said, this is called CDCA pipeline. We will discuss each one. So here, whatever they mentioned here, like starting from build, code, plan, testing. So every stage it will have an a multiple tools involved in that. So when a DevOps engineer like deploys or use the tools in particular stages, or everything will automate the things, they will do their job, and it will be deployed to the production or QA or dev. So these are the people who all engaged in this. So and so talking about the problems that DevOps resolves or solves. So first of all, what is an like you are able to see a couple of things mentioned here. Like first one is increased cost. Okay, so what is an increased cost? How much money do you spend on the project, and how to reduce the possible increase in cost but keep the development effective? It can be the tricky to measure the development cost because no two projects are the same. Also, if you think you are going to deal with small problems, it can be much harder in reality. The two things we can actually measure are the time spent and the development and the quality of the product. So next one is demotivated teams. So what is a demotivated team? So demotivated team can be a disaster for the business. So the team members produce less and less work, the relationships change, the communication is poor, the less productive employees get easily distracted by non-work activities, and they drag the rest of the other teams down. Okay, lack of motivation brings empathy, unwillingness to resolve the problems, or poor customer service, the team can lose important team members and even clients also. So team lead should observe their teams and check if they are motivated enough, talk to them, support them, share the goals with them. There are many useful practices that can help you to motivate your team, like what do you call retrospective, bus factor measuring, Kanban, role definition, pair programming. This is worth spending time with, motivating the team, and it always brings success. The next one is like not my problem mentality. So you see, like somebody some issue you take to anybody, "No, it's not my problem." So this is called my not my problem mentality. One of the very dangerous approaches to a teamwork is not my problem mentality, and it is an opposite to any healthy team collaboration. It is not a team player's mindset. It can endanger your team's productivity, your relationship, the product, or the worst case scenarios, even lives. It is easy to walk away from a car accident thinking that someone is going to take care of the problem. It is easy to walk away from an upset colleague without asking if they need any help, and in the end we both have a lot of work, right? So the next one is developer versus operations wars. Okay, so generally developer will blame operations, and operations guys will blame developers, based on like your code is having problem. They say that your pipeline is having problems. So these are all happens. So long feedback loops. So long feedback loops are frustrating. The goal is to make them as short as possible using the correct tooling and motivating the team. Ensure that every team member understands why or the feedback loops are important. So anything like when you work with teams, like feedback is always a good practice. Now that's what we are discussing. Okay, so long feedback means that delay between actions and reactions increases, and the team becomes frustrated and demotivated. The shorter or the feedback loops, the better. First of all, we have to understand the effective software development needs constant interactions, collaborations, and iterations. Only then the continuous delivery really works, and stakeholders and everyone participating are happy. There is one thing necessary for the collaboration: feedback as soon as possible. So uh, uh, next is increased cost. So how much is the software development? Two projects are never the same. It can be small application or a complex system. It is important to try to reduce the possible increase in the cost. So what is an increased cost? First of all, so how much money do we spend on a project, and how to reduce the possible increase in cost, but to keep the development increasing the decrease in the cost, will it uh, it will be the development effective? So it can be a tricky to measure the development cost, because no two projects are the same. Also, if you think you are going to deal with a small problem, it can be much harder in reality. So the two things we can actually measure are the time spent on development and quality of the product. So like next one is bad product or market fit. Bad product market fit. So when market does not want your product, it means you are done. Archiving a product market fit is the goal of every business. So simply saying product market fit means that the market does not want your product. It is critical or crucial to archive a product market fit. It is the main goal for every company. If the company does not find the product market fit in a reasonable time period, it could mean a bankrupt. A bad product market fit basically means that the customers are not satisfied with your product. That's what it is. So for example, like based on market requirement or market trend, you have to upgrade and you have to route the right products. Example is like if you see Nokia, initial days, like when Nokia was the number one company in the market, mobile market, but later it went down because of not taking right decisions at right time. So there are a lot of companies like that. It's an example. So next is meaningless work. So avoid meaningless work. Learn how to deliver value and stop spending time with tasks without purpose. So what is a meaningless work? Meaningless work can be a feeling that work I am doing has no meaning, or it can mean that the product I am working on is not valuable. So I think you guys understand what I'm saying. So next is toxic team culture. Okay, dangerous toxic team culture spreads easily. It is often started by a combination of bad management and disinvolved employees. It is crucial to deal with this as soon as possible. Learn how to recognize the symptoms. Okay, so what is a toxic team culture? Spreading like a virus, consuming the team spirit. Toxic team culture should be dealt with as soon as possible. Sometimes the actual work you have to do is not the most efficient part of your job. If you feel like there are too many obstacles to deal with, critical approvals take too long, or no one appreciates what you are doing, it can mean one thing: the toxic culture is spreading in your team. Toxic team culture is dangerous. Unhappy workers are less productive, and they tend to make more mistakes. The toxic culture can cause an high fluctuations. So it should be dealt with as soon as possible because it can spread quick faster. So yeah, like as a manager, he has to go through all his team members and understand what is the happening with them, or what they need, if they require any help from him. That's what he has to do as a manager. So next is the disconnect between business and IT. So disconnect between business and IT happens when the company does not sees the IT department worthy of a long-term investment. Their business plans do not focus on IT innovations. So what is the disconnect between business and IT? Disconnect between business and IT means that the companies do not consider long-term IT innovations in their business plans for a fiscal year. In fact, they prefer fixing issues currently at hand. This is a clear disconnect between the companies and the departments nowadays. Both ideologically and financially, companies worldwide should acknowledge the IT department's true value and stop separating them from the business plans. So, using the DevOps, most of the below can be resolved. So, the next question is how to implement the DevOps. So, five are the critical things like culture, automation, lean, measurement, sharing. So these are the things like we were going to discuss. So culture, the implementation of DevOps, the company has to start with changing the culture of collaboration, take small steps, invite members of the operation team to the meetings of the development teams. Operation teams can invite key developers to their meetings. uh, that way everyone can keep up with the other projects. Make sure that everyone understand the DevOps culture, and that they communicate with the talk regularly. Automation, so automation is another necessary step in implementing DevOps. It eliminates repetitive manual work and builds a system beneficial for both teams. Like for example, like you are installing some application on servers. Like if a engineer need to install on 100 servers, how much time it will take? So for example, he has to, for a testing purpose, he has to install some software on 100 servers. So you just imagine how much time it will take for an engineer to do it manually. If implement a tool which will take care, so simply a single click will take care of 100 servers within 5 minutes or less also. If a manual interaction is required, then it will take hours together and manpower also. So next one is lean. So continuous improvement of product is very important. A product is very valuable for customers if it goes with constant maintenance, even if it is not perfect at the beginning. So next one is measurement. It is necessary to have some data to be able to continuously improve a product. It is important to ask testable questions. For example, how often the bugs appear, how many people use the product. All the data helps the team to make decisions and share the information about a product with other teams. For example, marketing. So next one is sharing. Sharing is crucial. If the team shares responsibilities, they share success as well. It is important for building trust and a good atmosphere at work. So last one is common pitfalls of DevOps. So here a couple of things I mentioned. DevOps do not identify themselves with the DevOps practices. The culture change did not happen. Lack of support from management. The managers do not support the changes enough. No tools or no automation. Lack of dedicated resources. The company believes that everyone uses DevOps practices, but in reality they do not identify themselves with DevOps. DevOps engineers work only as one of the other teams and do not create the culture changes. The operations team do not trust them and do not coordinate or cooperate. So this is a little bit introduction about DevOps and about DevOps engineer. So we'll be discussing on other things in next video. So this is completely new course. As I said, your likes and your feedbacks and your if you subscribe, it will motivate us me to do more videos and share the knowledge with you guys. So as a part of DevOps, we'll be working on a lot of tools like Ansible, even Docker, Kubernetes, and even Terraform, and complete Azure. So I will be starting Azure. We'll be discussing about what is cloud, what is the difference between a cloud, all stuff in upcoming videos, and I will be going through an in-depth uh, sharing about a complete Azure cloud and overview on AWS, all stuff. So this will be a very long travel because DevOps is huge. Azure is also huge. So we'll just do subscribe to get my new releases. Thanks for watching. Please do subscribe and like my videos, and for any queries and suggestions you can always reach out to me on vstudentblog@gmail.com. Thank you. Bye bye.